today's segment, segment 8, we are going to be looking at government plans that focus on some sort of a disability portion. We talked about these plans in module 1 as well as an introductory, so we'll be building onto that. All right, so the first two that we're going to look at are federal plans. That means that they apply for all of Canada. And then the last one here is a provincial plan, which applies for Ontario only. Other provinces have their own versions of it. So you can go ahead, definitely look at the book. If you're looking for a specific province, you can look into that. All right, so when we're looking at government benefits, the first plan I'm going to talk about is EI, which stands for Employment Insurance. And this plan has 3 different portions. So it has a portion for unemployment. If someone has lost their job through no fault of their own, they can apply. It has a portion for disability, and it has a portion for maternity and paternity benefits as well. So because today's module is on accident and sickness, we'll be zooming into the disability portion and taking a look at how that works. So for this portion, and for all of them, the qualifications and all of that is the same, but the differences will be there. So the waiting period for EI plans, and for, again, we're focusing in on disability here, is 14 days. So it has a 2-week waiting period, so not too long. It does not have, so DB here stands for death benefit. It does not have a death benefit built into this portion of the plan. And it's very short term. What do we mean by that? That it's not something that's going to be giving you benefits for a long time when we're looking at the need of benefits. It provides benefits for 4 months. So it has a 2-week waiting period where there's no benefits, and then benefits are paid out for 4 months after that. How do you qualify? You have to work for at least 600 hours. So remember, you have to be employed in order to qualify for this portion. If somebody is not employed, if they're self-employed and they're not contributing, obviously they wouldn't be. So if they're self-employed, they do not qualify. They don't have this coverage, right? So it is for those who are employed. And they have 600 hours in the last 12 months or after whenever they got off from a previous claim. So you have to have minimum 600 hours in the last 12 months. And how much will you be getting? So it's 55% of your gross weekly earnings up to a maximum. This year it's $573. This number changes every year. It goes up by a few dollars or so. So this number can be adjusted, and the question will give it to you for exam purposes. They will tell you what that number is, but that number will change. Okay, so it's a maximum of this. It is a taxable amount that you will be getting. So it does go to a maximum of that. There is no spousal benefit and there is no children's benefit that's included in this plan. All right, the next plan that is there as a government plan is the CPP, which stands for Canada Pension Plan. And for Quebec, they have their own, which is called QPP. And it has different sort of requirements. So you can look into that if you're looking specifically for Quebec. You can look at the book and read up on the QPP plan as well. All right, so for the CPP, Canada Pension Plan, we did talk about the fact that this is a contributory plan, as with this. So in this one, the employer and employee contributes half and half. With CPP, you also have to be working in order to be qualified for this. So you are contributing to it. It is a pension plan, but however, it does have a very restrictive definition of disability, which is why we're looking at this plan in the module for accident and sickness as well. Very restrictive definition. What do we mean? So if you go on the website even for CPP, in order to get disability from the CPP, the disability has to be severe and prolonged. That means very intense and usually permanent. So if it's something that the person, let's say they were very badly hurt, but they're going to recover in a few months, in a year, 2 years, CPP will not give any benefit. So if it's something that is very severe and it's usually long-term, and we're thinking like a permanent sort of a situation, then you would qualify for CPP. So you don't want to qualify for CPP, right? God forbid you would have to do that. So this is a severe and prolonged sort of a situation. When it's very intense, then disability is paid out. The waiting period for this is 4 months. Because it's government plans, they are meant to go hand in hand. So they know you will apply for this first and you will get EI for 4 months. It has a benefit period for 4 months. So that's why the waiting for CPP is 4 months. So the idea is when this stops, if you qualify, this will start, right? So they build a bridge towards one another. It does have a death benefit of $2,500. So if somebody is, if that happens, and they do give a maximum of $2,500. It does not have a spousal benefit, but it does have a children's benefit, right? So if the children are under 18, they can get a benefit as well under that plan. Or if they're between 18 to 25 and attending full-time school, and it's important that we highlight the full-time. So if they're part-time, it won't apply, right? So that is sort of the qualifications for that. And the last plan we're going to talk about is workers' compensation. And again, this is a provincial plan, so it's not the same for all of Canada. It's Ontario. So this will be applicable if someone has a loss of income or they have injured themselves on the job or because of a job. And it's very, very important to remember that bit, that it has to be on the job or on the job or because of a job. So if somebody slipped and fell and got hurt at their workplace, workers' compensation would apply. If they slipped and fell after they left their workplace and maybe, you know, on their way out on the parking lot or somewhere, not on their actual workplace, it will not apply. So it has to be on the job or because of a job. Or if they're working in a place that's exposing them to some toxins, some chemicals, and because of that, they've developed some sort of an illness or anything like that, then it would apply. The waiting period for this is 1 day, so it's very quick compared to some of the other plans. And there is no spousal benefit or children's benefit with workers' compensation. However, the benefit period is indefinite. So that benefit period can go on for as long as needed, as long as a person needs it, can go on even to a lifetime if the injury is that severe. So it's not saying that it's only going to pay for 4 months or for 6 months or anything like that. All right, so those are the different government plans that also have a portion built in for accident and sickness and disability that can also be considered because many people will be able to qualify under one or the other. But we want to keep in mind, EI is something that majority of the people qualify for, but CPP and workers' compensation are not guaranteed. For EI, you are guaranteed if you work 600 hours in the last 12 months, you've built up that qualification, then you will get it. But CPP and workers' compensation have their own very restrictive definitions that the person does have to fit into. All right, perfect. So that's the government plans. In the next segment, we will be moving on to now taking a look at the definition of disability. So we talked about different types of plans. And in the last segment, we will be looking at now, final segment for this module, the different definitions of disability that can be applied as well. All right, so I'll see you in the next module.